Hello and welcome back to Our Life, Beginnings and Always. Last time we had a pretty intense moment with Cove and his family. We went to dinner. We're almost through step 3 and it's August. Step 2 and it's August. To be fair, summer doesn't end till the end of September, but my summer usually ends at the end of August and we start the spooky season. So we'll see how much of this I can accomplish. This may have been a mistake, but we'll do it anyway. I've only got 3 moments left, I think. I was thinking of just doing Boardwalk just to do it, but that's going to be a long one. So let's say we roll. 1 is family, though. Ooh. We hard hitting? Yeah, we hard hitting. Okay. This one's good, though. So, we done did this. Was intense. We're heading into something else pretty hard here. Next time I'll do Boardwalk, then we'll do Mall before we do Soiree. I think that's the plan. So we'll see ya in the family. I'm doing the most complicated thing I've ever done before too, trying to eat a whole sandwich while I play this. So good for us, I guess. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of the hills behind your house and had been relaxing there for a while now. Oh, that's right, Lee is in this one, too. We got lots of Lee coming up. That's good. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you'd both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. That sounds nice. That sounds like a nice picnic. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk about the musical she'd gotten to see a few days ago. Oh, Lee goes to plays. Lee is quite rich, by the way. It was unbelievable. There was singing and dancing and crazy stunts, and it was all done live right in front of my face. So the hills are alive with the sound of Lee. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see more shows like that. Man, imagine if you went to fancy shows with people. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she was good at it, too. You'd gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she put a lot of effort into it. You also liked to sing, but you weren't any good. You also liked to sing and had talent of your own. You didn't like to sing, but you'd been told you were good at it. You weren't good at singing, and that suited you fine. Aha! I don't think Marina would like to sing, but she's not very good. It didn't stop you from doing it, though. I wonder if maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask their friends and some people to come and watch it, too. It'd totally work. Yeah, let's do it. Oh gosh, I forgot we're doing this in this episode. Holy wow. This might not be a long one. I don't know about that idea gave you stage fright. Sure, I'll give it a go. That's not a good idea. It'd be embarrassing. No, let's do it. You had actually thought about doing something like that before, but never had a chance to. Lee clapped in excitement and bounced on the balls of her feet, beyond happy that you were on board with her idea. I'm gonna sing. Do you want it too? Or maybe do something else? I'll sing too. I'll dance. I'll write the song. Some kind of stunt that goes to the music. I'll pick the outfits. I'll do the makeup. I'll make a backdrop for some kind of stage. Look here, our 3 little ponies, ready to... This just gives me Cutie Mark Crusaders vibes. Wow. Probably do some kind of stunt that goes to the music. I don't think she's any of these other things. Oh, a daredevil. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? No, that's all. The two of you ran back to your house and grabbed the supplies you needed, dodging your mom's amused questions before heading back out to the blanket to get started. I mean, she's literally, like, Marina's not an artsy person, right? We're not this. Brings for the sound of that. One little transition there. You grabbed your bicycle helmet and a pair of knee pads to protect yourself and quickly strapped those on. Lee and you were discussing the plans in detail, sitting on a song first and then practicing our parts for the show. And just like that, the day goes by so fast, doesn't it? The afternoon passed quickly, the sun dropping lower and lower in the sky, and after having thoroughly worked out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break.
Oh.
You know, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. He could tell us if it's bad before we put on the real thing.
That's smart. You guessed that would have been okay. I'm glad he didn't see. He said nothing. That's smart.
We should ask him to watch us later. Okay. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him.
Yeah, he's a good person. I really like him too. He's okay. He's kind of boring. I don't really like him. Well, you see, Derek just did some shenanigans not too long ago. He's okay. He's a good person.
I knew you'd think so. So exactly how much do you like him? Or maybe there's someone else that I haven't heard of yet?
Lee wriggled her eyebrows at you suggestively, and you knew exactly what she was implying. Lee, there's nobody I like that right now. I can't answer that. I have a crush, yeah. I can't answer that. Lee's eyes sparkled, and instantly she just hit the jackpot.
What?
Who is it?
I can. Oh no! I think I'm gonna go back and tell her there's nobody because we don't actually like anybody. I was being more like I don't want to talk about it, but that's not the way it read it. So
What?
Lee, there's nobody I like that right now. Lee huffed in disappointment, pursing her lips together.
Darn, but you promised to tell me if that changes, right? I'll do it for you.
Yeah, maybe.
Boo.
You knew her whining wasn't serious. That's just how she was. Okay, it was worth it for that. This is a classic Jamaican patois face if I ever saw one, though.
Speaking of crushes, there is one boy I think is pretty cute.
You leaned back on your elbows and listened as Lee talked about her crush all in great detail. It was nice to have her telling you a little gossip for once rather than always trying to get it out of you. I forgot that I knew there was a time when you talked about crushes with her, but I didn't realize it was this moment. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the show as you did, and you thought back on what you'd already accomplished for it. You could definitely do with a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. Yeah, this is the moment. This is what the moment is, though. It's not talk about crushes with Lee. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You interrupted something. Exactly what, you weren't sure. Wow, who died? What's going on? You looked between them and said nothing. Hello. I don't think she would say who died. Wow, that's a little... She's not that sassy. What's going on? Your moms looked at each other, wondering which one of them was going to speak first. Eventually, Mom cleared her throat and spoke.
Oh.
We're just having a talk with your sister.
The room fell quiet again, but no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long.
You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try keeping it a secret.
Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mom's nodded in agreement with her. Wait. Is there a different... No, I think her sprite has always got her arms across her chest, right? She doesn't ever have a different one with her hands down. Just like how Ma always has this hand here that it just bothers me. Like, it's always on her stomach, like right below her boobs, and it's just, I don't like that pose for her. I don't know. I never did. It has always bothered me. Sorry.
Well...
Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Her biological ones.
The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. Yep, it's talk about your adoption day. Good stuff. It had made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just had never thought you'd accidentally stumble into it. Yeah, this is heavy. This is the heaviest moment in the whole thing, if you ask me. But dang, man. That whole crush thing still bothers me, because I wish I could be, like, hinting at the fact that other things about Marina that I want to get to. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from either of you. It's your right to know your past, but we did want to wait until you asked us or to hear yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. She from the dang Philippines, that's right. Wait, I wasn't born here?
No.
You weren't. You could clearly see your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or now or how to react.
Am I gonna have to pass some tests to even be a citizen?
No.
No, you were adopted into the country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. Well, you see, it's a good thing you don't live in 2025, Elizabeth. I mean, I guess you will be alive in 2025, because in the day and age we live in now, that's not good enough. You from another country, you better watch your ass. Ice be coming, yo. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you. Again, just wait. Elizabeth sighed, placated with the information, but still far from happy.
Who are my parents? As people. Why did they put me up for adoption in the first place?
Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer.
I'm so sorry.
Sweetie, your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into details on the specifics of how, but you were an orphan.
I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, suddenly enraged.
Great, so I can never meet them. Even if I wanted to. Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive.
Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs to her room before anyone could stop her.
I have to go and talk to her.
Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head.
We should give her a little space to process it all.
Your Ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. Yeah, she's the empathetic one. She has to be there for her baby. When Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember you, and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. So this is a weird, interesting bit of that conversation, though, to me. Were they together? I mean, at first, Ma says she adopted Lizzie when she was still a baby, implying that she was by herself when she did that. But then later, I think the mom says they followed all the laws or whatever. So, were they not together when she adopted Elizabeth yet, or did they? Because usually I would assume they would have got together first, and then they made these decisions. And did she go to the Philippines, or because we clearly know Lonnie is Hawaiian, right? I believe that's a very Hawaiian name, or some sort of East Islander, but I assume she's Hawaiian. And I would just assume Pam is probably just from California. But, I forget what I was going with this now. Why was she in the Philippines? Why wasn't Lonnie in the Philippines? Or was this one of those services where you, like, people adopt children from Africa and stuff like that? They don't actually go there, they just work through an adoption agency. Anyway, the rabbit hole deepens here.
I'm sorry you had to see all that.
It's not how I expected it would have to happen when the time came. But since it's on the topic of the day, Marina, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know, after all. Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. I want to know. No, I don't want to hear. Not right now. You couldn't even answer. I want to know. Your parents both nodded in sync to your reply, ready to talk. I can leave if you want to have things be private. I want you to be here. I can do that. Lee shifted a little closer to you in support, and you were glad to have her there with you. It made you feel a little stronger somehow. You turned to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Ma was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion. You were adopted as a baby, but it's 2 years after Elizabeth. We used a different organization that time, and you were adopted within the U.S. Oh, so I'm a U.S. Yeah, I am a United States kid. Okay, they do tell you that. I couldn't remember if they told you if you were from the U.S. or not. And that kind of answers my earlier question, where she says that we, so they definitely were together. We're sorry to tell you, Marina, but your parents had also passed away, and no other family member took you in, if there were any. That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared.
I'm sorry.
So, this is a weird moment that I never know how to feel about. It's when I watch my friend do it too. I've never had any close friends, or obviously myself, who have gone through this, who have been adopted. And you always see in movies where kids get really upset and want to meet their biological parents and make a big deal about that. I have no context for it, so I really don't know how to feel. It's something that's really weird, and I can't process it, I guess. I've heard people talk about adopting before, and I'm gonna sneeze. This is bad too. And that whole process and stuff from other countries and things like that. But I've never been involved in a conversation like this, nor will I ever be. So it's so weird to think about how this character would even react to this, how Marina would feel, because I have no way to empathize with the situation. To me, this doesn't sound like such a big deal. You already have a family, right? You were adopted as a baby, so you have no memories of that life. These are your moms. You have them, you have Lizzie, you have Cove, you have Lee, you have the Holdens. We have established that we have a loving family environment, so why would she care about this? But the fact that Elizabeth is so upset makes me feel like I should be more upset. I'm gonna see what the choices are, but I think Marina doesn't have that much. She's also only 13, right? Lee gave you a reassuring squeeze in the arm to show she was there for you. Thank you for telling me. Okay, you said nothing. It's not your fault. You didn't kill them, right? You started to cry. You were so angry. Now, we got angry at Derek recently. We're probably not angry at the moms, and we're not sad. I'm gonna say it's not your fault. You didn't kill them, right? I think that's probably... This sounds too adult. I don't think she would... I think she would... Her defense mechanism is humor. I think she would try to direct humor. You were trying to lighten the mood, but your moms didn't seem any less grim. Thank you for listening, Marina. They probably respond that way no matter what you do. If there's anything else you want to know, all you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to answer any questions you have.
Are you okay?
How are you feeling now? Are you gonna be okay?
Leah watched you closely as though judging how exactly she should react to what was going on. I feel fine, but you didn't mean that. You started to cry. You held back the tears, but you weren't fine at all. Anger rose inside you. You definitely weren't okay. You said nothing. I'm thinking I feel fine, but you didn't mean that. Marina's used to lying at this point. I hate to say it like that, but she really is. This is a hard one, like I said. I think it's still a lot to take in, even if you're not that conflicted about it. But I don't think she'd be mad or upset. You spoke in the most convincing tone you could. Your moms gave you a sad smile. You weren't so sure they believed you. No one seemed to have any words after that. You went up to your mom's, your room. You know, just stay here with your. You need to stay here with your mom's. You wanted to see Elizabeth, because if you will recall, we love our sister. Right now, I think she'd be more hurt and upset for Elizabeth than for herself. You were worried about Elizabeth, even though she'd been so angry when talking to your moms about everything. You could see she was clearly sad. You headed up the stairs into her room. I know they don't have a transition scene, or like the stairs part of the house, but why go to the sky? You asked Lee to go with you. You left Lee in the living room. Oh, geez. I think this needs to be a private moment between me and my sister. It would be best to speak to Elizabeth alone. There was more chance for opening up to you that way. Waiting for you in front of your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There was no answer for a good minute or two, and while you jiggled the handle, you found it was locked. I don't think they have a screen for her room, that's why they're doing this. Raising your hand again, you knocked louder this time, thinking she must have headphones on so she couldn't hear you. And so couldn't hear you. When she didn't answer, there was a door a second time. It was clear to you that she either couldn't hear or was just straight up ignoring you. It hurt to be shut out, especially right now. You went up to your room. You wanted to get out of the house. We want to get out. Let's get out of the house. I'm gonna go out just for a little while. I'll be back before it's really late. Your mom's nodded and understanding, trying to make the best call for yourself. Trusting you make the best call for yourself. Can we take Lee with us now? Why can't we take... So, here's the question. If I taken Lee earlier, would Lee have come with me for this? Because I feel like Lee should come with us for this, right? She would want someone with her. She would want Lee with her. Without knowing where you really wanted to go, you began to walk down the street quietly, dragging your feet. Okay. I hate to be this person, but we're gonna rewind again to, did you take Lee with you? And just see what, she nodded and followed near behind. When you found your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There's no answer for a minute or two when you jiggled the handle. She can hear you. It was clear, yeah, okay, this is the same. Okay. Lee's footsteps echoed from behind and you knew she was following you. Good. This is what I want. I think we want Lee to go with us. Can you stay, Lee? I want to go by myself. You encouraged her. You said nothing. Yeah, we want Lee. She wants Lee with her. Can you come with me? You know I can. She gave you a small smile and walked with you to the door. Without knowing where you really wanted to go, you began to walk down the street quietly, dragging your feet. Yeah, it's so weird that you couldn't take her with you unless you had her come with you to the sister's room. Like, she would still be in the living room. If you came back downstairs, you think there'd be an option to, hey, Lee, do you want to come out with me? Wasn't wanting to be alone altogether. She just wanted to talk to Lizzie in private, but whatever. Lee's footsteps echoed on the pavement behind you as she caught up, falling into steps beside you. You turned and kept walking, unsure of what else to do. Everyone else had been so upset, and you didn't have the first idea on how you could help. Eventually, you found yourself at the beach, and your feet sinking into the soft sand while you looked out over the ocean. You took off your shoes and paced the sand over the water's edge, letting the cool ocean swirl around your bare feet. It was comforting being there with the ocean breeze rustling your orange hair and the smell of salty water filling your nostrils. They really want to remind me that I have orange hair. Almost every moment they mention it. Eventually, you took a seat down on the ground, watching the sun as it dipped down further and further towards the horizon before it disappeared completely. Your cousin stalwartly kept you company without trying to force you into speaking. We can't have a conversation with Lee about it the whole time? Like, I'm not allowed to have a conversation with Lee about this? Lazy writing here, man. That's what she'd want to do. She'd want to talk to Lee about it. I mean, she'd still want Lee there, but... So, I had a really good relationship with my cousins growing up. I should talk about this since Lee... I had a girl who was a couple years younger than me, who was like my best friend when I was a kid. And yeah, we didn't see each other all the time. It was kind of like this with like Lee, where you see her like once in a while and do stuff together. We went camping, you know, hung out at birthday parties, or she was like my best friend. And we've grown apart now, sadly, because I don't live in the same state and stuff. But man, that's the relationship that I feel like Marina wants to have. She likes Lee a lot. Lee is like one of her best friends, right? Probably the best girlfriend she has at this stage in her life, really. I would think. She probably has other friends at school, but Lee is probably her best friend. It's her best friend. The sky shifted from blue and pink to orange and then the deep blue of night. A sudden shout drew your attention away from the sea. Someone was calling your name. Your head snapped the source of the yells. At the edge of the beach, where the grass met the sand, was a silhouette in the darkness. But the person was still unmistakable to you. It was Cove. What's he doing here? Oh, you didn't think we were gonna get away without seeing Cove for a moment? His eyes settled on you ahead, realizing you were in fact there. He rushed down to the shore to where you sat. You could tell he was out of breath when he approached. You rose to meet him. So we can have a conversation with Cove, but not a conversation with Lee. Cove, did something happen? No, not to me, anyway. I wanted to know what happened to you. I went to your house to say hi, but your parents said you were gone, that you needed to get away.
What's wrong?
I mean, I had to think something was going on after something like that, so I came to find you. Lee gave him a smile, but put a supportive hand on your shoulder as you now had to try to explain this to someone. I guess Lee already knows everything. There's a lot going on right now. It's nothing. You didn't speak to him. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. My parents are dead. She wouldn't be that insensitive, man. There's a lot going on right now. Cove looked over at you in confusion, his eyebrows dipping. What is it? My parents, from before my mom's, died when I was a baby. Moms didn't say how, maybe they didn't know, but there wasn't any other family I could live with, so that's why I got adopted. Without having to say anything else, Cove reached out and placed a hand on your shoulder. He brought his face in towards you. I'm sorry, Marina. His words were whispered comfortingly. You don't have to do this. I'm okay. You closed the distance and hugged him. You started to cry. You took a step back from him. I'm okay. I'm glad you are. Still, he didn't let go. Can you explain everything to me? He nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. It took a long time for you to relay on the details. Dozens of stars were pinpointed in the sky as the night wore on. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly a moment contemplating everything you'd said. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. Marina? So even if you invite Lee there, she's still just second-class citizen to this. That's disappointing. Lee, I felt like Lee should be. So it also kind of annoys me because of some of the other characters that they really hammer on about, like later on especially. And Lee is a much better and more interesting character to me than them. But you get to, man, the people, and I'm going to complain about this later, but the characters from other games that these people have made, who they really like love because they're their beloved characters or something, but they won't let us get more interactions with Lee.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. So sorry. He stopped suddenly and took in a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression he was struggling with what was he right to say. I'm sad I'll never get to know them. I feel bad that I don't feel worse about it. I'm just so mad. You shrugged your shoulders, not knowing how to feel. I feel bad that I don't feel worse about it. This is exactly what I was describing earlier. That's how I feel. I feel bad that I don't feel worse about it. I never knew them at all. They're strangers, even if they did have me. Marina, you're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think that you can be as sad as you want, for as long as you need. Or you can feel okay about it, whatever you want to. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked out over the ocean.
It's okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. It's a good message. Thanks, Cove. You know what? Thank you, Cove. That's nice of you to say to me, too. His words made you feel better, and you know it was true. You didn't have to apologize or make any excuses for the way you felt about it at all. Cole smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. doesn't matter if you're not blood related. You're definitely family. I can see that. I hope you can too.
He felt reassurance in his eyes. I mean, that's not the problem. She knows that. The problem is she doesn't really. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, I guess I, you know. Shoot, man, sorry. She knows that though. I guess, you know, that I'm adopted and my parents are dead, you know. Your cousin tried not to interrupt your explanation or Crow's response to it. When the opportunity arose, she made it clear she shared the same sentiment. Hey. We don't even put a Lee, like, Lee, you just get to narrate what Lee says, not that Lee cared. It makes me mad that you can't really include Lee in this, no matter how hard you try. Sudden voice of your sister behind you made you jump. You saw her standing a little way away. A little way away. I hate that. No. She walked closer and you didn't quite know what to do or what she was planning on saying.
So?
Would you mind going? I want to talk to just Marina. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cole seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. Lee wasn't exactly jumping to go. She checked with you quietly. What do you think? You can't ask that. Yeah. I want to talk to you too.
Really?
Oh. Then we're on the same page. She made a little move-along gesture with her hands and it was settled. You waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did Moms tell you about your parents too? Yeah. I like this very vulnerable Elizabeth expression. I forgot, this is like the one moment that in the whole thing where Elizabeth's not being a bitch to you in step 2. Like, this is literally like Elizabeth being vulnerable and real with you. And this is it's kind of poetic that we're doing this towards the end of the moment. It feels like we've had kind of a rough summer and Marina's been having this whole thing about how she feels about her sister and like wanting to be close to her sister but she can't, and it's kind of coming to this thing now where we have this moment together. It feels really poetic and cool. My birth parents also died. Elizabeth broke eye contact after that.
Sorry.
Why'd you want to talk to me? I went to see you and you didn't even answer. Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the news.
What?
I didn't hear anything. Shutting everything out with loud music was very typical of your sister. You didn't feel much less confused, though. Yeah, that's very typical of us, too. Marina's the same way. I wonder where she gets it from. Why'd you stop doing that, then? She shook her head as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. I wanted to ask you what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. It was pretty crappy of you just to bail. I'm amazed you noticed that was unkind. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm not mad at you. You were quietly surprised by her admission. Thank you for thinking of me. Wow, these are just shitty things to say, man. I guess if you were mad... Well, hang on. I think she would say I'm not mad at you, actually. Yeah. Actually, do we want to say something like this? Because she's kind of been mad at Elizabeth this whole time. I think in this moment she would have enough tact to not. I'm going to say I'm not mad at you. She stuck her nose up a little at that, but her smile was soft. I'm okay, Elizabeth. It didn't upset me. How are you allowed to be that mature? The lightning spirits in her were quickly gone, and she slipped back into a scowl. You have to be born in the U.S. to become president. What? You had never heard of that dream of hers before, but she noticed your bafflement and continued. I get it, I was never going to be president, but it just feels weird having stuff taken away and not ever getting a chance at it. Yeah. I don't like having to know that when I was born, I was going to have a completely different life. So different. I can't even think about what it looked like in my head. I could have spoken another language. Lived away from everything I've ever seen here. Had someone else as my sibling. And then my parents died and I was adopted. And the life I got became a totally new thing forever. See, this is one way of putting it, that thinking about that. That your life changed that much. And she's from another country, too. It's true. Like, I don't know what I would do if I learned... I mean... She must know that she's ethnically different than some of her friends and stuff. But... I don't know what you would do when you suddenly heard... If you suddenly heard that, though. I can't go back to what it was, even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. I love this phrasing. The person who became your sister. I feel like that too. You know exactly how she felt. I don't really understand. Oh, I've been saying this for the whole time. That Marina doesn't really understand this. I think this is what it's going to be. I can't see that other stuff as being my life. The one I have is what my life is, and everything else is only what didn't happen. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I've had in my head for a while. When it was just me and Mom's in the living room, it just kind of said it. Finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change how I feel about our family, Marina. She smirked, fixing you with sharp eyes. I already figured a long time ago that moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. Technically, one of them could have been related to you. You keep listening to Elizabeth. It really doesn't change anything? Technically, one of them could have been related to you. Our moms can have kids, just not both together. True, but I'm not half white or native Hawaiian, so... Neither of them could have been my mom.
Nice try.
Smart Alec. That was worth it for the nice try. Nothing about the family I was born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped to be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners.
You'll always be my little sister.
Oh my god, I love that line. Thank you for voicing it. You smiled softly at her. You jokingly groaned at the prospect. You bumped her back. You hugged her. You hugged her. It took a few seconds, but she gave you a quick squeeze in return. You'll always be my family, too. I think I'm really lucky. You took it the moment. You'll always be my family, too. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. Ready to head back home? It's been a long day. You gave her a nod.
Come on.
You three, let's go. You walked home together in a comfortable silence down the well-worn street. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped through the door, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. Their heads snapped up and they got to their feet to meet you, Mom giving you a careful smile. We're so glad to see you. Hi, I'm sorry for walking away before. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. That's wonderful, sweetheart. Really wonderful. Doesn't she have a voice-acted line that says, that's really wonderful? They could have just used that here. Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you. Poor Cove and Lee. Poor Cove and Lee have to sit there. We really couldn't have asked for better kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say. You smiled their comfort. You were so glad your moms were alright. You're smooshing me. You're smooshing me. You all chuckled, the rumble of laughter shaking all of you as you continued to hold each other tight. She's probably about the same height as Elizabeth, but yeah. I love you too. They both pulled back, eventually grinned at the two of you, and you knew that when you all had each other, you always would. Yeah, it's interesting to me, when I think about it, that we had a big moment with Cove's family last moment. We're having a big moment with their family, our family, this moment. Well, now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over.
Totally!
I love the sound of that. Yeah, okay. Why not? You hid that smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood. She hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. The two of you had practically grown up together over the past 5 years. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house with everyone in the same room. You suddenly remembered the show you and Lee had been working on earlier. Maybe we can do our show? You were bummed you never got to do it after all of that. You weren't so keen on that now after what had happened. Maybe we can do our show.
Oh?
A show? This is the first time we're hearing about this. I'm intrigued.
Wonderful.
It would be amazing if you put it on for us to watch. Oh yeah, I'd need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. You smiled at Lee, who returned the gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. Whoa, we get Lee in the middle of the moms this time. Take some seats and we'll get everything together. Your moms collected the chairs from around the dining room table and set them up in the row in the living room. There was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies you needed to rehearse and plan one last time. I mean, look at the size of this living room. I think we've got plenty of space for what we're gonna do. You listened to the song you had chosen one last time. You then made sure to grab your bicycle helmet and knee pads in your bedroom and strap them on. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. They quieted down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with excitement beside you. Felt nervous all of a sudden. You're pumped for the show. You were unsure how to feel. Ooh. Are we unsure how to feel? Huh. Nah, I think we're pumped for the show. The time for you and Lee had put into practicing was worth it. You were ready to go. Okay, so welcome to the show. Welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. You stayed quiet. Thanks for being here tonight. No refunds. You're gonna be really impressed. Your moms cheered in encouragement, excited to see the performance. Then you nodded at Lee when you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waited a few beats, and then got into the song and started singing. Your performance and your stunts to the sounds of gasps and applause from the audience. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers, and the two of you bowed deeply together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourself up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Bravo, bravo.
Good job.
You are so talented. Your family rose from their seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Cove was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face.
It's nice.
Thank you. You're so great with those tricks, Marina. It was cool. Thanks. I was pretty good, huh? He blushed and said nothing. Luckily, you had a crowd as easily impressed. I was pretty good, huh? And you're humble, too. You laughed together, feeling as light as a feather. Your parents gushed about how great everything was, and thank you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which you knew she meant as kind of kiddie. You laughed it off, however, and were just happy that everyone had a nice time. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be a part of the family you had. In that moment, we couldn't have been more pleased to be part of the family we had. Well, that was fun. That ended up not being as heavy as the Cove moment, but we did it. We did some stuff there. So next time we will. I don't want to do too many of these. We'll do Derek Land. We'll go back to Derek Land and Derek's brothers and all that stuff and do Boardwalk. Might be a minute because I'm going on my own road trip, camping trip this weekend. Not in an RV, but we'll see you next time.